Giving away Dom's Charger plus $30,000. We partner with Slate Performance to build these amazing machines, and I'm gonna have Dylan from Slate go ahead and break down the entire build so you know what went into this car. Remember, you win this car plus $30,000.
All right, guys, we're standing under Dom's Charger. We're gonna take a look at what it takes to put the power to the ground, make this thing perform, drive nice, ride nice, do everything you want it to do. We wanted big power, we wanted a big transmission. How are we gonna make that work? How are we gonna keep the chassis from flexing? From the beginning, we needed the front frame to be supported. So the front frame is fully plated, boxed in, and tied into our subframe connectors that run down to the back. We'll walk through. As we start at the front, you will see there's a massive engine above me. We're not gonna talk about that right now. We're gonna talk about how do we get this to ride on the ground? How do we get it to handle? How do we get it to perform? Suspension, brakes, let's go over it all. Starting out with the sway bars. This car would have never came with sway bars. You'd have made a turn, you'd get a lot of body roll. Down the highway, it would ride like crap. So how do we adjust that and make it better? We add sway bars. We got aftermarket sway bars, the front and the rear. Suspension on the front, we got Hotchkiss tension rods, Hotchkiss inner to outer tie rod ends. They got Heim joints. It makes it a lot more solid, it's just a lot more solid on the ground, a lot more planted. When we move up to our actual shocks, we've got QA1 single adjustable drag shocks all the way around. You can make it nice and stiff for the drag strip, or you can soften it up for a nice ride down the highway. We have also QA1 lower control arms, QA1 upper control arms. Gives it just a nice, more solid ride, keeps the suspension together. It's not gonna be flopping around like the old bushings and crap that was in this car. Our brakes, how are we gonna stop this thing? If it's gonna be fast, it's gonna accelerate us. So how are we gonna slow down in that same amount of time? The only way to do that is adding bigger brakes. Right off the bat when it comes to brakes, Wilwood comes to mind with us. They sell a 6-piston caliper that fits inside the 15-inch wheel, which is what we need for Dom's Charger. So we got 6-piston calipers on both sides. We got stainless brake lines that run up. Let's keep moving back. As we move back, transmission wouldn't fit. So how are we gonna make that fit? We're gonna cut the transmission tunnel and make it fit. So the transmission tunnel is expanded from a small to a bigger size to make this guy fit. You'll see our 3-inch exhaust running all the way back. As we come back, you'll see a custom transmission mount, again, fully fabricated. How do we tie our front box framed in to the back? We got Hotchkiss subframe connectors that run all the way back to our leaf spring mount. So all this is very solid mounted all the way forward. It's almost like a frame rail. This car is originally a unibody, so there is no frame. It's a whole shell. So we are supporting it like a frame. That's where all this comes into play. You'll see our Earl's stainless braided and coated fuel lines. This is great because it's not going to corrode. You're not going to have exposed stainless braid. It's all coated. It can take road debris just fine. You'll see our Flowmaster 3-inch exhaust. You also see our custom aluminum 3-inch drive shaft, which is a fantastic piece. It also has a billet-in on the transmission. Super strong. Should be good for 900 to 1,000 horsepower. Right now we got the pumpkin above me. What is in the rear end? You know, a lot of people ask, what can I do with the rear end? Rear ends get costly quickly. So this has a full posi track rear end in it. It'll do burnouts, it'll do rolling burnouts, do everything you want. You want to go to the drag strip, hook up and run, it's going to do what you need to do. Again, another sway bar in the back. It's going to give you a lot better ride on the road. It's also going to give you a lot better performance at the end of the day. In the back, we still got QA1 shocks, single adjustable. And also, how are we going to put that power to the ground? It's still leaf spring. It's a leaf spring car still. So we got Caltrax traction bars. These are some of the best traction bars you can buy for these cars. They mount directly under the axle, and they mount directly in front where the leaf spring mounts. It's not like bumping against the leaf spring. It works like a control arm. Again, how are we going to stop? So we add more brake to the back. We got Wilwood 4-piston calipers in the back. Stainless brake lines off of it as well. The stainless brake lines, let's talk about them for a second. Rubber brake lines, when you hit the brakes, they actually expand a little bit. So the stainless braid around it's going to keep it together. You're going to get more pressure to the caliper. It's like that on all 4 corners. The shell itself also has brand new brake lines, ran all the way up to the master cylinder throughout the entire car. So a lot's been replaced under this thing. As we continue to move to the back, you'll see an EFI tank, brand new gas tank. It's got dual fuel pumps in it. It's good for over 1,000 horsepower. So this car is ready to move. Now let's take a look under the hood and what's it gonna take to really make this car go. All right guys, it's finally that time. What is it in Dom's Charger? We see the 1471 BDS blower hanging out of the hood with a top fuel scoop, methanol lines. Could it be a top fuel engine? Let's check it out. Definitely something going on in here. It's definitely not that. Underneath of this, you'll find a 6.4 Gen 3 HEMI with a Whipple. It's also got power steering, power brakes. It's got all the aluminum tanks. This thing's ready to rock. So ultimately, we got a Whipple supercharged scat pack in there. How do we intercool it? We have a massive intercooler through the grill. You can kind of see it through here. It goes all the way from the top to the bottom to get us that cold air for our supercharger. If 700 horsepower isn't enough with just the Whipple, it's also got nitrous. Coming around the car, it's got real American 200S wheels all the way around. 15s just like the movie, the identical wheel. Where you can also see the Wilwood brakes in there. Let's go ahead and move into the interior. As you look in the interior, you'll see aluminum door panels that are very like the movie. We added the aluminum door panels. These are totally custom made, brushed and clear coated for longevity. You'll see nice black leather wrapped everywhere. Over the side panels, over the back, it's got a brand new upholstered back seat, brand new carpet. You'll see that 8-speed shifter setting in there. Fantastic job my guys did with that. It's even got a movie correct steering wheel, seats, harnesses. Everything is really to resemble the movie car as much as possible. This car also has a roll bar. It's mounted, it's actually raw steel clear coated, so you can really see that metal finish to go with everything to be movie correct. As we move to the trunk, you'll see a nice finished trunk. Everything is wrapped in vinyl. We're fully boxed in, carpet floor, and obvious, nitrous.